to the Mind Shift Movement Podcast with your host, Alan Johnson. On this podcast, Alan will be sharing with you empowering, effective, and actionable knowledge within the health, fitness, and mindset space to help you make the progress and growth that you desire from your life so you'll become the very best version of you, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So now, get ready to dive into today's episode.
Hey everyone, it's AJ here and welcome to the Mind Shift Movement Podcast with me, your host, AJ, and on this episode, I'm going to be speaking to you about the tipping point. So with our habits and our behavior. So first of all, I just really want to ask you, if you're listening on the podcast right now, could you please take a screenshot and share this episode in your social media stories, to your Instagram and your Facebook right now to spread this message even further. And what you could also do is copy the link and, share it on your social media. Share it with friends, through messages, any WhatsApp groups you're in, any Facebook groups you're in, and let's get this positive message spread out to more people to positively impact as many people as we can. So first of all, what is the tipping point? So it's when you've sustained a behavior or an action for long enough for it to have a positive or a negative effect and impact on your life, okay? So we've just come out of the UK lockdown, and I know a few cities around the country have actually gone back into another lockdown, so let me know if that's been your city. And, has lockdown led you down a path of progression or regression? Have you actually moved forward towards your goals, or have you actually moved further away from your goals? And I know it's been pretty tough for a lot of people. For me personally, it's been pretty tough at times, really briefly, like moving home, having a new baby, having to transition my business from in the gym to online. So yes, it's been pretty challenging at times, but I would say personally, I've still worked my way towards making progress. Not so much with like in the gym side of things, but with moving my business online. So I've progressed with that, and also starting some group trainings locally as well. So over the park, mini boot camps, they've been really beneficial as well. So that's been fantastic. So think about whether you've actually made progress, with your health and fitness, with your work life, your family life, relationships, your spiritual life as well. Like, have you been making much progress with that, or have you actually gone the opposite way at the moment? But obviously you can turn that around. But be honest with yourself. Have you actually regressed and maybe gone down the other path? So, have your daily habits been serving you or working against you? So, for example, like serving you would be, keeping fit and healthy every single day. Eating healthy, spending time with positive people, reading, developing your mind, those kind of habits. Or have you been the opposite, where you've fallen into the trap where you're watching loads of TV, you're watching Netflix, you're flicking through social media, looking at negative news. Maybe you're drinking lots of alcohol every single day, maybe a little bit too much, and ice cream every night. With Netflix and chill. Have you fallen into that kind of trap? It's absolutely fine every now and again. Do you know what I mean? I absolutely love Netflix and chilling and booze as well, glass of wine. But of course, we can fall into a bit of a negative trap with it as well. Do you know what I mean? So the tipping point can work both positively or negatively, depending on which habits and behaviors that you're following the path with. Okay, so we have to be very, very careful. Are you close to reaching your tipping point right now? So, it's okay to eat cake, for example, for a couple of days, or drink, alcohol for a couple of days, or just, have a bad diet for a few days, and maybe miss your exercise for a few days, and maybe don't tune into, podcasts or personal development for a couple of days. But once you start sustaining those negative behaviors longer term, like medium to long term, then you will get to that tipping point where disaster is going to happen. So you might be at that stage right now where you're thinking, right, I need to change. Like literally, I've just got off the call about 20 minutes ago to a lady that she's in that scenario where she's been living her life and she's not really been focused on positive behaviours anyway, and she's just got herself into a rut, and her mental health's been really affected right now, and she's reached out to me for some help because she's just dug this hole for herself. And along the way, she didn't realise what she was doing. You know, these little negative habits going along the way, in the short term, it doesn't feel like, you know, there's much negative impact. But then as you sustain that negative behaviour, over time, you're going to get to the tipping point where it really falls on top of you. Okay, and this, like I said, that's the negative side of things, but it's the same with the positive side of things. Like when you start a healthier diet, when you start a better exercise routine, when you start tuning into personal development on a daily basis, whether that be audiobooks, reading a book, maybe some online courses, maybe some podcasts like this one, then you're going to get to the tipping point as well where you go for a few weeks and you're like, I'm not getting any results. You know, what's the point of actually doing this? You start questioning why you're doing it. And then you get to that tipping point where the results start to come. And if you continue, the results will carry on. Okay, so consistency really is key, all right? So, yes, you know, focus on, you know, what your goals are, what your vision is right now, and where you want to go with your life. You know, sit down and really evaluate where you are right now, and you know what habits you need to embed to create a better future for yourself, right? So that is it from this episode. I would like to offer any of you listening right now a 7-day free pass to my new online fitness and mindset development program, where people have been getting phenomenal results. You know, inch loss within 7 days, weight loss within 7 days, improved anxiety within 7 days, generally just having more energy and feeling better about their life within 7 days. And this is for free. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the 7-day pass, of course, we're going to have a chat about how we can move forward to work together medium and long term, but there's no obligation. You haven't got to carry on. Like, I generally just want to help people improve their life. And if you take enough value away, you appreciate the support and the accountability every single day, then of course, we can work together long term. And that works both ways. Like, people that have started on the 7-day pass, not everyone finishes. And a lot of the time, some people go silent. So I just take that opportunity away from them because they're not respecting my time. They're not respecting the value that they're getting. So sometimes I have to take the 7-day pass away, and I just let them know that they can carry on at a later time, but whenever they are actually ready. Okay, so if you haven't already, come and join the podcast community group. Okay, the Mind Shift Movement podcast community. It's on Facebook. It's a free community. You're all welcome to join that group right now. And of course, if you haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe to the podcast. Please leave a 5-star rating if you feel it worthy. I really appreciate it. And if you want to go the extra mile, then you can leave a review as well. And I'll be much appreciated. And I really appreciate you all spending your time, investing your time to listen to the podcast as well, guys. And that is it from me. And I'll catch up with you on the next episode. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Mind Shift Movement Podcast with Alan Johnson. Make sure you join Alan's free Facebook community group, the Mind Shift Movement Podcast Community. Please support the show by clicking subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Share this episode with at least one friend that would benefit from it, and share the episode on your social media stories. Please go and leave us a 5-star review to help us reach out to more potential listeners, and we really look forward to bringing you the next episode.